Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Dominions 4. I wanted to take a little bit here to talk about the map I'm going to be playing on. As you can see, it's called Pelawir, and the creator of this map, I believe it is pronounced Pie Mouse, or maybe Pie Moose. I'm not sure if I'm getting that right. Sorry if I abused it, but you can see his website right there. I did ask for permission to play this on the channel, and he did grant it to me, so I do appreciate that. And I will be linking the map on Desura below, so you can check it out. It is an awesome map. When I get into the actual game, I'll go ahead and zoom around and let you take a look at it. But it is pretty awesome. 127 land tiles, and I believe 18 water tiles. So we're going to be playing with Sauromatia this game. I was between them and Xibalba, and quite frankly, I think Xibalba is just monstrously good. And I generally don't play things that I consider to be really strong, unless I just don't know they're strong. Xibalba wrecked me in Vanheim, and then I kind of tested them out and Sauromatia a little bit in some personal games, and I just find Xibalba to be incredibly good. They have super cheap units. You can just swarm all the independent provinces. If you lose units, you can fly new ones up to 3 tiles away. It's so easy to expand, and then you got really good like blood magic that can just destroy armies, it seems like. Assuming you know how to actually do a blood economy. So I went with Sauromatia. In my experience so far, maybe I'm just not playing them right. I'm finding Sauromatia to be average to below average, if I had to say. I'm not entirely certain. Again, maybe I'm just playing them wrong. But you can see here we got weak priests, death, nature, blood magic, a little bit of astral and water. Lots of cavalry. And I'm not crazy about these Serpent Riders and Lizard Riders, which are our sacred units. And then we got Hydras, which are interesting. I want to mix them in. We'll talk about those once we get into the game. There's your description if you want to read it. And to look at our god here, I'm going with this lovely, sexy young lady right here. The reason I picked this character, I was originally planning on going with a Monolith, because I think it had... I want to say it was Air, Earth, Astral. Could be wrong on that. 3 paths that we don't have great options for that would have let us build some path boosters for our other mages. But statues are kind of boring, and plus I feel like you really have to know what you're doing to get a statue to work. And I don't think I'm to that point, and I'm also on a difficulty level that I got wrecked on with Marignon, which I'm really bitter about because I loved Marignon, and I feel like if I had to pick a nation right now, it would be Marignon. I think they're cool as hell. So I wanted to go with something a little safer. The other thing I was looking at is that Los Manzani had mentioned a few times that he tends to go for some really heavy scales, and so I wanted to try that out. So I'm taking this lady here. Can't remember what the chassis is called. It was level 2, so we're not looking to do much there. We have a lot of death in our with our nation's casters. So I'm looking at nature for path boosters, and also because I want to screw around with the crossbreeding. I think that'll be interesting. She gets a bonus to crossbreeding. And then blood magic. I don't want to go crazy with it. Maybe run a few blood searchers and try to do some magic with her later on in the game. Not planning on going like full blood economy or anything like that. 6 Dominion. That's basically, as far as I'm concerned, the minimum you can go without being too weak in your Dominion strength. And then we got, of course, 3 in the, whatchamacallit, I always forget what these are called, order, and 1 productivity. I went lower on productivity because I'm finding in my other games that I would run out of gold before I was running out of resources. So that to me was indicative that I needed the gold more so than the resources. I bumped the heat up 1 just for some extra points. Growth at 3, hopefully get some long-term growth. Right? See what I did there? With that, so I can't really say that I've noticed how much growth impacts your game, but I do know that, at least from what I've read, it is pretty huge when that accumulates over a lot of turns. So, of course, I like to run a little luck. I find misfortune to be really painful. And the Magic 3, first time we'll be seeing that, and I will talk about that once we get over to our units over here. So let's go ahead and move forward. I'm going to name her... I had a name picked up. Let's go with, like, Markidna. That sounds pretty decent, I guess. I don't know. And I do tend to bump up my special sites just because I like it. I don't know. 55 doesn't sound too bad. Renaming is allowed. Let me know if you want a commander. I will be happy to put him in there. Or her. Alright, so here's the map, Pelawir. Again, link below to check it out for yourself. Easy to download, easy to install. Go ahead and take a look at the art here. It's freaking awesome. They have a nice, nice choke points here, I would say. All these bridges tend to have just one way of crossing the water. See that there? Over there. So the map is very accurate as far as moving your units around. And you also have these caverns over here, so you can kind of move through. You can see the open cavern spaces. Boom, boom, boom. And then also, you know, areas where you can cross over if the heat scales will allow it. So, pretty awesome. I think this is a really cool map. It looks great. Better than most maps. Actually, I'll just say better than all the maps that are available. Even Volanus, I would say, can't compare to this map. So, pretty awesome. Really like the looks of it. We started on this nice mountain, too. Probably good resources. Got a throne right next to us. Yeah, I like the look of it. This has a cave right here, so excellent resources right there. Nice. That's always nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at our units. And we do have a lot of them. So I'm going to try to shorten this as much as I can, because I'm going to be honest, I think that our units are kind of crappy. I'm just going to say shitty. I'm going to go ahead and say shitty. I don't think they're very good at all. So feel free to comment below if you think I'm wrong here. Let's start with the normal units. First of all, we have 2 archers. We have the Sauromatia, and we have the Androphage. The only difference here, as far as I'm concerned, is that the Androphages have poison bows. They both have the same precision, both have the same damage. I believe they have the same range. They do. The Androphage is, let's see, 5 gold more, 1 resource. I originally started, when I was kind of testing them out, building almost exclusively Androphages. And then I switched over to the Sauromatians, and I found that I was expanding better, just from the sheer number of shots. So I'm going to be looking to use those in the early game. Maybe the Androphages will find a use for them later. The infantry, the only one we have, is the Sauromatia Amazon. 13 gold, 12 resources. Slightly better than a heavy infantry. I've not had a great deal of success with these. With that said, I do plan on using them for our early expansion. I don't know if they'll fit in the later game. Decent morale though, so not bad there. We have three cavalry archers. This raider, Sauromatian raider, and Sauromatian lancer. All of them, as always, precision 8, composite bow. I think all these units are crap. I think any cavalry archer in this game that I've seen thus far is garbage. If you have, again, something that would argue against that, please let me know. I would be ecstatic to hear that these units are actually good. So, that's my take on those. I don't plan on building them at all, unless somebody brings up some great point. Then we got the Lancer. Now the Lancer is interesting, because you can build it in every single province. It doesn't matter where you're at. So, we can kind of mass these things, and I think they're decent units. They're not amazing. They got 11 hit points, 11 morale, not bad. 15 in defense, so they can kind of hold a line, I would think. They got a shield, so they do alright against missiles. And their light lance gives you that little boost. I think it's like 3 charge bonus for first strike of 3. Not bad. Length of 4 can probably repel some attacks, so not a bad unit, I don't think, here. Very fast moving. Sauromatian Cataphract. I have not had a chance to really use these very much. This is kind of like your heavy cavalry. They got good defense skill, they got good protection. Their hit points a little less than the Lancer, which I find kind of odd. Also has a shield. And then we got a lance, which is always nice. Let's see what the lance says by the bonus charge. Let's see, charge bonus for first strike. Cannot be used for repelling, it's only used once. So I think the other one said 3, if I'm not mistaken. Broadsword and hoofs. So, pretty good unit. I think once we've expanded and we've got a couple castles out, we're going to look to recruit some of these guys. And then, let's go over to our Hydras. I think the Hydras are awesome. When I originally started, I was using Hydras exclusively for expansion. Occasionally they rout, and then they run through your archers, and they kill, 35, 50% of all your archers just by running through them, because they have a poison cloud that does up to 8 damage. So I'm not going to be using them in the early game. They're 250 gold. I'm not certain how we're going to fit these in. I really want to because I think they're awesome. One of the coolest units in the game. They got great strength and attack. Protection's not terrible for a monster-type unit, and we've got a defense of 12. 5 attacks on the big guys. So, interesting unit. Blunt and pierce resistant. Poison resistant, of course. Weak to fire, so we can't send them against any fire nations. With that said, I'm thinking summons, such as skeletons, maybe vine men, etc., that are poison resistant, we can put up there in the front line with them, and they don't take damage from the poison, and then they distract attacks away from the hydras. So that's kind of what I'm thinking as our front line, so to speak. We definitely can't field them lined up with Amazons or any cavalry or anything like that, because they all die. They die horrible deaths. It's terrible to watch. I've seen it. It's gruesome. They're just sitting there choking and dying, and it's really horrible to watch. So that's what we're looking at for the hydras. I definitely want to mix them in just because they're cool. And last but not least, our 2 sacred units, both of which I'm not impressed with. And this is why. First off, they're very similar. They both have 2 attacks. They're both cavalry. The other one has, I think, 11 hit points. Their stats are all very similar. The other one has less strength, 1 more defense, that sort of thing. Both have 2 attacks. Both have a shield. My thing is this one right here is 70 gold. And there are units that are around 70 gold that have like 30 to 60 hit points. Like Jotun Huskarls are 35 gold each, and they have 30 hit points each. This thing has 13. Even with our Bless adding, I think, 4 health to it, we're only looking at 18 hit points. I think if this thing gets hit with an arrow and takes an affliction, that's a horrible tragedy. That's just too expensive to me. The same thing with this guy. It's 50 gold, so I would say this would be probably the more likely option. It has 2 less hit points, 2 more protection, and 1 more defense, so it can probably hold the line a little better. Maybe we'll mix these in. I don't know. If we get a good throne or something like that, we'll see. But that's my take on them. Maybe if you had like a monster Bless, like a level 9 and a level 4 Bless of some sort, you can probably make them work a little better. I think these are too expensive for our Bless. That's my take. Let me know if you think otherwise. And then our commanders up here. We got 4 just kind of human commanders. These 2 are priests. Goes, I think, 40, 80 as far as leadership. This guy's also got 80, and then 120 for the warrior queen. Pretty standard. Not bad to have. The chieftain can be recruited in any province, so that's really nice. The soothsayer has a 90% chance of getting astral. It's a fortune teller, which is why I was going to run misfortune, and I forgot. Damn. Oh well. But these guys are going to be our main research people. They come in at 7 when they get that astral, and then we're magic 3, so they're 10 a pop. So if I can get an early castle out, which I want to start building by like turn 5 this game, we'll be producing 2 per turn with a 90% chance each of having 10 in research. And then it's just crazy. You can get tons of research with this nation. I think that is one of their big strengths. So hopefully I pick a research route that makes sense, unlike in my past games. With that said, the Spirit Guide, not impressed with this. Death 1, also 7 research. I don't think there's much room for that. It's 10 gold more than the suits there. The Inari, Astral 1, Death 2, Nature 1. Now what I'm planning, once we get that 2nd, maybe 3rd castle out, the capital might switch to Inaris. And the reason for that is we can get our Horde of Skeletons going, maybe we can get some Shadow Blasting going. Might need a Skull Staff for that, I can't remember exactly. But I'm thinking Inaris, we can use our Soothsayers to do some communions. I kind of screwed around with that in my free time, so I know how to do communions now, at least a little bit. So that's kind of like our core mage group, I would say. Then we got the Warrior Sorceress. She comes in with Nature 1. Same as the Inari, but she does have a chance here, 25% chance of getting Nature 2. And then also this is our route into Water and Blood from our main casters. So we'll be making a few of them, probably not many. The Manflayer, honestly, don't see the point of this thing. Pretty much the same as these guys, except more expensive. So, don't know the point. If he gave a bonus to our sacred units, that would be awesome. Just don't see it. Witch King. Pretty awesome unit. Death 3, Nature 1, Blood 1. And then we got a chance, 25% chance of getting Death 4. Which means we're pretty damn close to being able to build... Actually, no. With a Skull Staff, we get under 5, and then we can make a Skull Face. So we can get Death 6. Relatively easy. That sounds pretty awesome to me. I don't know how many of those we would make. I would be really interested, for you guys out there who know what you're doing with this game, how many of your slow-to-recruit, very expensive mages do you build? Do you get to the point where you just build 1 per turn? Or do you build like 2 per year? Or 4 per year? You know, that sort of thing. I guess the max would be 6 coming out of your capital. So, they also have Fear, which is interesting. And the last guy here is the Hydra Tamer. I can't make sense of this guy. It makes no sense. He's got a leadership of 10. You would think this guy, being called a Hydra Tamer, would be designed to lead Hydras. They have a Beastmaster of 10. That says that animals get... Or, I'm sorry, plus 2. Animals have increased morale. A Hydra is an animal. But when you put a Hydra, led by a Hydra Tamer, it shows them as having -2 morale. It makes no sense. So, I don't think we'll be building those. Maybe I'll build one just to show you what I'm talking about, but believe me, it doesn't make any sense. That's it. That's our units. Again, probably Lancers, Archers, some Hydras mixed in there, Cataphracts for sure. Lots of summons, and I really want to see some kind of like Marignon-esque blasting with spells, so to speak. Fireballs. Not fireballs from us, but probably Shadow Blasts, that sort of thing. So, let me know what your comments are. I would love to hear them. And we're going to go ahead and move into the first couple turns of the game. I'll probably do maybe 2 or 3 this episode. So my opening plan here is I would love to get over to these bridges. Bam. Bam. You know what? Real quick. Map filters. I like having the names on. Of course, I can't see the names right now. So over here, 67, 47, 51. 3 bridges. Actually, 1 down here too. I probably won't be able to reach all of them, but it would be really nice to have those just to kind of limit AI movement into our area. I guess also blocking this cave entrance would be really nice. So I'm kind of hoping to get as much of that blocked as I can. We're going to scout down here to the southeast, check out the throne. I'm sure I won't be able to take that anytime soon. Our Lancer dude is going to become a prophet. And research-wise, we're looking at enchantment. I hate to say that I want to go right for Horde of Skeletons, but I'm really questioning my ability to win on Mighty AI difficulty. And I think that that's the obvious choice here. I don't want to abuse it too much. I want to get some evocation in there, some construction, maybe some conjuration. I believe blood magic, obviously, for our god, but Horde of Skeletons is going to be one definite area that we need. And again, the Hydras poisoning around them doesn't affect the skeletons. It's pretty awesome, so we'll be looking at doing that. With that said, here we go, turn number 1. So nothing happened other than a few prophets announced from some other nations. Speaking of other nations, I forgot to mention that we are facing off against Yomi, Kalem, Mictlan, Abyssia, Tirnanog, and 1 random water nation. I tried to pick some nations that we have not seen very often. We did have Kalem in the very first episode with Vanheim, I think. Maybe I'm thinking of Archocephaly. I can't remember. The other ones I don't think we have seen at all. I've seen a lot of Tian Xi and Satis, things like that, so I wanted to cut them out. And right off the bat, this looks like the worst possible scenario I could imagine. We got a big group of barbarians here, which are terrifying. A bunch of heavy cavalries guarding the throne, which is expected. These shades and shade beasts and fiends of darkness. No idea what a fiend of darkness is. That sounds terrifying. We'll avoid that. Light infantry's not bad. Jote and Axemen, we could probably take that. And then another group of barbarians. Hopefully this doesn't go tragically, awfully horrible right off the bat, because it'd be a really bad start. So I think what we're going to do is go for, here's the thing. This is a swamp. I don't like the idea of taking a swamp right off the bat, so I kind of think we got to go for Jade Link Pasture. So let's go ahead. We're going to set these guys to fire. Actually, let's do fire closest. And then these guys right here, we're just going to sit them back, hold, and attack. Hopefully if we get the first attack on the barbarians, plus our bows, we will kind of kind of wrecked them pretty bad. Let's move our leader back there. And he's going to go... I did do an Inari first because I want to hit the site searching very early. So, boom, he's going to follow right behind. Probably won't do much for the battle, but put him cast some spells if he even has any. And then switch over to Soothsayers. And I said I was going to do Amazons, but boy, I don't know. I kind of think the cavalry's a little better, to be honest. Okay. Let's do it. I'm so nervous already. This is sad. That was a really brutal draw on my surrounding terrain. Like, I'm really concerned about our ability to expand right now. I've just had, like, so many times where I've gone after barbarians and just been totally wrecked by them. So, this isn't too bad of a group, but, our archers did not kill any of them. Oh, God. It might end up bad. Hang in there, guys. Okay, they did pretty well. Our cav did pretty well. There's a rout. Nice. Smite coming down and doing nothing for us. There we go. I was a little worried. That could have been bad. I mean, they got a charge in. A pretty strong charge. The arrows did nothing the first few volleys. Misfortune 3. 5 units have been cursed. Welcome to Jadeling Pasture. The good thing about that is... seems like there's a good chance that we'll find some death magic there, so that'll be nice. Looks like we got a fairly easy couple provinces here. So the question now is... boy, I kind of would like to go here. This is looking weak, too. That swamp tile is not going to give us much, though. I don't see that providing a whole lot. So I think what we'll do is go boom, boom from there. Hopefully that'll work out. These are pretty weak. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. When our next expansion group comes out, what I'm going to do is recruit a chieftain out of here. Probably a couple turns. We'll look to, I don't know, probably go this way. 60 barbarians is pretty brutal. And I don't expect to take the White Road anytime soon. I have learned that going for throned provinces in the early game is very detrimental to your mid game. It doesn't work very well. So let's go ahead and recruit some of these guys. And that's pretty much the turn. Yeah. Alright, let's go. Here we go. No magic sites. That's unfortunate. We will, of course, have to check it later on with maybe a higher level death mage. It seems, I believe Misfortune is indicative of a death site, so maybe it's really high. Maybe it's like a level 4 one. I would like to get one of those Witch Kings out fairly early to kind of get him searching around for level 4 death sites. So another thing I would like to do, and I guess it's going to be hard with the route I went with my god, would be to make some Banes and try to do some thugs. So that'll be something we're going to look into. Oh. Wow, I'm really surprised those infantry there. Militias held in. Oh my god. Wow. Heavy infantry. Kind of did a lot of damage there. Unfortunate. There's the route. Good deal. Keep this moving along. Don't forget to put a little defense into your provinces. And our Inari, just going to keep following us. Oh man, it's so weak right there. 10 units and a Jotun Axeman. So here we go, we got a Soothsayer that did not get Astral. That's kind of unlucky. The second one, when we have a 90% chance. So, something to look out for. It can hurt you a little bit in the long run, but just going to have to deal with it. We'll do a little more cavalry this turn, because I think I went a little heavy on our archers. Let's take a look. We've got 8 cavalry and 16 archers, so probably about time to recruit a chieftain. We'll send him over there, pick those up, and then look to... boy, if this barbarian province is looking small, we'll go after that, I think. This one worries me. I just don't know what these guys are, so... and I don't think we have to hurry to this. Of course, watch an AI will come through here or something and take the Hawk Swamp right adjacent to our capital. So, that's pretty much it for this turn. Probably the last one of the episode. Let's do it. Proclamations, Calum, Tyrannog, naming priests, I'm sure. Prophets, I should say. And ash stones. Let's check it out. My cavalry's probably pretty beat up. They took a pretty big hit there from that group of heavy infantry. That was unfortunate. Oh god. All these three little troopers there kind of taking all those arrows. That was kind of a waste of shots. Oh god. Collateral damage is real. So this is going to slow our expansion down because now we're in a situation where I have to reinforce our troops here. I don't have enough on the front line to continue, I would say. And here's Kirk the Pharmakia. You know, I've seen this chick come in a lot, it seems like. I definitely recognize her. Really good magic paths. 2 air, 2 astral, 4 death, 4 nature. That is really nice. She's a healer. Okay. Glamour. That's never bad. And a priest. Wow. 32 in research. So basically, that means our Inari can come back home. We'll send her around to site search. That's pretty amazing. That is really nice. And, what I was hoping... Wow. Do we get really crazy and try to take this Hunger Road? We got 20... Probably not. No. I was going to say, we might be able to do it with archers, but I think what we're going to do in the next episode is move Anacarsis to the Jadeling pasture at Dantharus. So he'll go into Sauromatia, and they'll probably both hit Bleak Taker Desert. And before I forget that, let's go ahead and might as well recruit a couple of those guys. So they'll meet up here, and then we'll consolidate our forces. I forgot to move my damn scout. I do it every time. Let's go down. There's more land down there. So they'll hit this together, and then from there we'll have to kind of figure out where we're going to be moving. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching episode 1 of Sauromatia. Leave me a comment below. I will see you in the next one.